shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who does not exist. Michael Knight, a young loner on a crusade to champion the cause of the innocent, the helpless, the powerless. In a world of criminals who operate above the law.
Good times! All right, that's what we're gonna do this week. Our job here is to figure out how to mentally prepare for another week in the shit show. So, first of all, congrats on last week. Everybody did great and all that good shit. And we had calls on this, and then we knew that it would be really hard to get through this trend line, because we have now rallied to it a few times, but it keeps rejecting us hard, right? Yes. And we've also learned that you gotta gap above it. That's the only way to stay there. And if you give it up again, you are going down, right? So Monday is gonna be very interesting. What is this trend line? Well, it's one of the big ones, going all the way back to the 2023 low. Okay, it is the main channel of 24. We gave it up when we started celebrating too hard their Liberation Day type of shit, and we have come back to it. Do I think we go into it? Yes, at some point. Will that be next week? Well, let's take a look here. A week ago, we said, we were here, that if we start selling, we're going to have fib retracements down here. We came pretty close to this bad boy, right? Found support. It was one of the most ass weeks that I can remember. I did not enjoy trading it. I just didn't. These weeks, prior weeks, were much more fun. Why is that? Well, some people just like to egg on and what's next. It's very important also to understand what the market's doing. It is important to see what it's done. So, Monday, first warning shot, going fucking sideways all day, really frustrating people. Tuesday, big sell. Into Wednesday, I said, unless you gap up, this is going to puke. We caught those shorts down there and slept a little bit on the dip, but caught up that. And then Thursday, we were looking for a higher low, yes, and then we're back here. So now you have like a huge half moon here, right? Because the truth is, there was no traders involved in that move unless you had pre-positioned, which we had. It was fast, it was all algo, boom, exploded up, right? This was controlled. This is called controlled selling. This is uncontrolled selling when panic strikes, right? So in the market, dips to buy are not dips like this. You need to get out of that, right? Sure, you can scalp something, but when you're looking for a move, for it to explode up, unless on something newsworthy, like Powell's well-crafted bogus speech, you need a fast sell, right? It's called a knife catch, a fake breakdown. That's all we had on Tuesday. Wednesday was also kind of shite. Now you have an impulsive move. So, two things can happen. You either need to gap over this trend line. The problem with that is that this is the JPM collar. you're not gonna cruise through the JPM collar. You need to gap above it, quickly come and back test it, and then rip higher. That can happen on Monday, but I'm also looking at Bitcoin that says, nah, bro. And if you want the market to sustain the gains, you want to start backtesting here a couple of days, Monday, Tuesday, and then come Wednesday, you want to rip. Why Wednesday? Because on Wednesday you have Nvidia's earnings. Why are Nvidia's earnings important? Well, because it's the fucking biggest company, right? And even though it ripped on Friday, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's traded before this $12, 12 days higher. Is it looking tired? Well, it is on an up here. So this is what you want to keep an eye on. If this MACD can curl up into this Wednesday phenomenon, that means that you won't have that cross and you'll get a good week and a half out of it, right? Now, for all these mega caps, what did they do on earnings? Well, we caught Meta. Remember, we had 700 calls on Meta that went full, you know, right? Microsoft was another one, has absolutely sucked since earnings. It's trading below earnings, had smashed earnings, right? Gapped up, has been selling off. And this is kind of where the key lies. Look at that. Oh! Wednesday, Gann window change. Why do I like these Gann windows? First, Gann windows have a direction. So, as you saw there, the first and second one were up. I don't know, TradingView needs to get their shit together. Seriously. So annoying. Sorry, I have to reload here. Why do I like Gann windows? Well, when in doubt, zoom out, right? Okay, so you have us coming in here to a setup where this could turn around, right? Now this is auto, but I managed to see that on Wednesday, even let's go by this window. Even though it's down, you've had, they're directional, right? They're directional coming down here. So you're about to start on a lot of these names, a new window can go higher. Now, what's interesting with them? Well, they all kind of run into the Fed supposed cut. And what's the best saying in the market? Buy the rumor, sell the news, right? Okay, so back to SPX. Right now you're pretty tapped out here on the 4 hour. What we want to see is Monday and Tuesday we don't fucking go anywhere, and maybe Wednesday have a little bit of a sell-off. We don't want to go close that gap whatsoever. What we want to do is avoid going through this volume shelf here where point of control is. Once you do that, I would imagine as fast as you went up, you will close here. If I could pick a spot to load this week, it would be here on yet another retest of the FOMC line. I don't know if we're gonna get it. However, let's zoom out a little bit more, which will lead me to what I'm gonna do this week. Okay, see that high right there? All-time high, came down, didn't get rejected here, so it wasn't a head and shoulders. This is now broken out, right? If you go to QQQ, you will see that, and where did we stop? Right there. So you have a head and shoulders setup. So now the question becomes, well, shit. If this plays out, you got to go back to the origin. Boom. That's pretty nasty. Now, can that happen? Yeah, if Nvidia's earnings are absolute dog shit, their sales won't be, but if their guidance is crap, then yes, that can be the trigger for a downtrend into the Fed meeting. September 16th, 17th. I just showed you that Gann window on Microsoft. Is it possible? Yes. Do I think that after Trump saying on Friday that the market isn't gonna crash, it's just gonna go up, it's more a question of how high, that QQQ plays catch up here and we can put in new highs by the end of the week? Well, the daily Stow surely suggests that. How do you play it? Well, do you want to play mega premiums on this fucker that's probably not going to move too much? Or do you look to other names like Avgo? Let's go see. There is May 28th. Okay, you did have a move up. Then it came to backtest and Nvidia started chugging. Okay, so let's just go look where Avgo was on May 28th. Oh, see, it also had a move with Nvidia, but for cheaper premiums, and then it's gone nuts. Am I gonna play this in September? Yes. Will I play some this week? Yes. Am I intelligent enough to realize that, hey, if this fucker needs to play catch up, it only has two chances this week. One would be Wednesday, so I'll play Wednesday into Thursday, right? And then on Friday for the data. Well, yes. So if we're holding and loading this, I'm Mr. QQQ this week. I have to be, for several reasons, and I'll show you one of them. Is right here. Okay, the good old Nasdaq seasonality. Let's zoom in. Where are we? August. Okay, was that the move we had on Friday? We're about to pull back a little bit here Monday, Tuesday, and then rip. Yeah, most likely. Okay, personally I hope that is last Friday, Monday, Tuesday, and we start fucking ripping. Okay, another thing I do want to highlight for you Full Moon Circle fantasts is Double J's current overlay. It does appear to have like a pretty steep dip that could be Nvidia's earnings also, but we'll have to kind of monitor. I'm gonna scalp IB session Monday, Tuesday, might overnight something. I want to stay out of the chop after a big move, and then have a pile of money to allocate end of the week. So I'll be looking for a dip. Okay, so anyways, I'm gonna be swinging some QQQ. I'll still play SPX and all that good shit. But as far as like, am I gonna be in Nvidia calls? Probably not, unless the IV is cheap. I might go with Avgo. Even SMCI could move, you know what I mean? As far as Mag 7s, there's gonna be a move where Meta, it might even be on Monday, where Meta goes from the daily 21 to the 9 and this trend line. That's one move I want to catch that I would suggest you guys look at. As far as the buying, they did sell some end of day, but you have 5 days of MOC buying, right? The last one being the biggest one. So they did buy here while they were doing their controlled selling. And then they, of course, were sneaky on Wednesday and put in the bottom on Wednesday. There's the hammer, there's the retest, there's the go, right? What is my favorite setup though? This. Now I went back to, I'll show you how far back I went. I checked out the dailies all the way to ...2008. Yeah, I went back and looked at Netflix manually to see, hey, has it ever had 3 inside days? And the answer is no, it has not. Okay, so you have a bearish engulfing weekly. Now, this is a super bearish pattern. But every time this year we've had a bearish engulfing candle on the indices, the next week has been green. And I'm looking at Wiki Ricky here protecting 4 days in a row a random level. Okay, I'm like, okay. Then I look and I see, okay, earnings. Beat down. And then I take out my little pen and I'm like, oh shit, cup, 50% pullback. This thing is ready to fucking go. And then I went and looked at the premiums, and these in the money for this week, this is where it gets to the stuff I like to do most, right? Which is look at premiums, because that's where, you know, it's at. So you can do this too, but if I go to my 1205 calls, right? I go look at them and I'm like, okay. I see what you're doing here. They closed at 1620. But a week ago, here, they were 5 grand. So, then I'm wondering, hey, the low of the contract chain is before that, it's here, it's like a grand. It ripped them to 5k, came down half the way, now they're 1600. Maybe end of day Monday or Tuesday I can get them for a grand, and if they are to have a swift move up, that is my premium play of the week. If I can get them from 1,000 to like 4,000, that's a pretty decent play, right? And the fact is, how did we call Friday's move? I don't know if you guys remember, I posted this Stowe inverted head and shoulders. I'm sure you guys remember it, right? And that's what I'm kind of looking at as far as Netflix is. That's a fucking cup and handle, right? So that's my favorite setup. Obviously, you got 3 inside days, so it's gonna pack a move. Can have a fake breakdown, but like, if you look at this from a purely pattern type of thing, this is where this period ended, and you have a cup pullback, 3 inside days on a Mag 7 name. It either dumps hard or it's about to rip faces. Okay? And Netflix is hot right now due to K-pop Demon Hunters. Alright, moving on. This old bird, the government is now either bailing out companies or just taking over them. We went from, you need to resign and leave, your life behind, Mr. CEO, to like, you're the best shit ever, we're best friends. Right? Because now the US government owns 10%, so I wouldn't buy shorts on it. Can it get a gap fill soon? Very likely, since they're probably going to be pumping their own shit. Here you see it just flickered there, the volume shelf to that earnings gap. How does this affect Nvidia? That remains to be the question, right? Weed names. Now this is the monthly chart, okay? But we can go on the weekly here. I don't know if he's gonna decriminalize this and send it. There's been some serious buying. This is the trend line to watch for. Seems a little like there's accumulation, but like it'll rip whenever that happens. I don't know if that's just to get voters for the next election. Who knows, but worth keeping an eye on. I still think this fucker has to be getting in to the S&P 500, but I've spotted insiders selling on this bad boy. Okay, on Hood. This name, I haven't traded it, I've mentioned it. A lot of calls last Friday into close came in on it, like a lot. And they're specifically buying the 60 strike for next week's Friday. Like there's a big order on it. Almost 5 million at this point on calls here. And obviously it's moved like fucking insane. That's where they did the split, okay? And this move would have been nice to catch, earnings move. So again, cup pullback, ready to do a handle. Congratulations to Jack. I know that he caught this move, and that's alarming. Not that Jack caught it, but that they're pumping Russell shit, right? That's always a sign that the end is near. Or is it? There's no reason that Dow Jones hit all-time highs. I mean, look at this fucking candle, dude. But we've said now for weeks that they're rotating into small caps and the Dow Jones specifically. I mean, you know it. I've said it, I don't even know how many times. And that's great, but who the fuck cares when everybody with half a brain knows that it's all about the Nasdaq at this point. So this bad boy needs to play catch up or it's over. And there's only one move, and that is to buy a shit ton of puts on the Dow Jones or IWM. But this is starting to get pretty close to the good old times, right? And I think this goes, right? So that then leads us to me recapping what it is I'm gonna do next week. I am going to be buying on QQQ. I'm gonna play Netflix. I might be sitting on swings on both bad boys. The plan is not to cry at the end of the week. The plan is to sell calls when we put in all-time highs on QQQ. That's the plan. If you want to swing something, I mean, look at that fucking zzz. So they're buying the dips on all these mega caps that they've faded after earnings. See it? So Nvidia earnings, then there's gonna be a fade, right? Okay, great. Not touching that. Leads me to number 3. Now that candle looks fucking awesome and all of that good shit. It is still at the same price that I was trading it in Thailand. right? So now what? Well, it literally only has a few weeks left to do this move it's been coiling up for, and I think that once it goes, it's gonna go big. Okay, so Tesla, Netflix, possibly Meta, possibly Avgo, and QQQ this week. Now, I know you all want some gravy, so I'm gonna give you some gravy. Take out your pots and your pans, okay? You can go and look at VIX right now. Okay, then you can go and look at the premiums all you want, okay? And you can see that they're all type of messed up. But the fact of the matter is that we are under the magic box on the VIX. So, can we go lower? Yes, we can. We were lower last year. We were lower many times. Okay, so what are you trying to tell us, Moon? I'm trying to tell you that if you have the VIX trend line, that you are gonna go meet it. Okay, that is why VIX puts, if you go look at, let's say, September 10, you'll notice that they're mispriced. If you go look at September 3rd, you'll notice that they're mispriced. Okay, they're even mispriced for this week to the downside. Now, they also were that here and we popped on the VIX. So I just feel like the market has a different setup. But if you want to educate yourself, go and study some mispriced put premiums, and then we will find out soon if that means that this is going to explode or go further down. For those of you who always look for call premiums, maybe turn your phone upside down. Okay, but just saying, just because the VIX is here doesn't mean that it can't go lower. What it does mean though is the pricing of contracts, and I for one fucking love when you're down here. Okay, JPM, my final thing I want you to fucking keep an eye on. Remember, I did the whole head and shoulders thing. We are right here. JPM, per usual, tells you what the market is actually doing, and it's told you for weeks that the market's absolute dog shit. Okay, so it had a good Friday. If it can't go higher, it sure as fuck to me is gonna start smelling like, but think about it. If this is a head and shoulders, JPM needs to go down to 265. Is this the time for JPM to go to 265? I would argue against it and say it needs to go higher, put in a cup, pullback, and handle. That's just me. Okay. Now what? Well, let's take a look here. Here is your good old sports calendar. Says rip faces here, and then a dump, and then this. I don't think that this is how it's gonna play out. If it does, fantastic. I think we need a big ass rally, and then we need to shit the bed, but not too much. And as I said, if we can't get over the collar, we can't get over the collar. Like, next week is your best chance to get over the collar. It's the best chance. And then I would think that you trade against it into the next one, because without respecting a collar, the markets are running wild. You have a triple reject right there. Jamie doesn't want it to go over. The only thing that's gonna get it over is absolute FOMO and decent Nvidia earnings. Okay, so what else? Well, let me show you some absolute bullshit. Okay. Monday, new home sales. Yeah, baby. Some bill auctions and nothing fucking else. Okay. Like, show me some shit numbers, you know what I mean? Tuesday, durable goods. Whoa, previous was pretty fucking bad. They're forecasting it bad, but like, why was that so shit and now we're supposed to be less shit, but still shit? Barkin, no one cares. Okay, Redbook, no one cares, because now we live in the new world order over here. Consumer sentiment, I mean, who the fuck did you ask? Alright, but anyway, Tuesday we get some lightweight data. Okay, whoop-de-doo, and money supply, of course. And keep in mind, there's no reverse repo going on anymore. Okay? Now Wednesday, the market's not gonna do much. I'm probably, for all these 3 days, gonna check IB session, fuck off, see if I swing something overnight. So I'm letting everyone know that the move in the market's not gonna be on Monday, Tuesday, or during the trading session of Wednesday. What do I base that on? Having been to the rodeo before. Okay, but Wednesday after hours on, Nvidia's earnings, the market's gonna start moving. Plus, you get European economic data. I know, gotta stay up for that, right? Thursday, GDP, forecasted to be a slam dunk after last, let's see if Anthony has counted right. Plus, we get jobs claims. Now, this week, the market did not like the shitty jobs claims, but that whole thing has now changed. Now you're back in the worse the numbers are, the higher the market goes. Because now we're not going to be talking about how fucking great our economy is. We're gonna be saying, yeah, but if the jobs numbers are shit, the Fed's gonna cut. They're gonna cut because they admitted you ain't never seeing no 2% inflation. And people are so stupid, they think that I don't remember that they've changed how they calculate that 2% fucking 3 times in the last 4 years. Okay. Alright, so Thursday, big day. You come in with big dick swinging here with that, boom, good. If those numbers are true, Fed's cutting, right? Then mortgage rate, yada 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 yada. Japanese data, I still think that Japan's gonna blow up. But big data Thursday night from Asia and Europe and all of that. And then Friday, core PCE. Somehow, in a universe far, far away, where, anyway, in that universe, core PCE is supposed to come in cool. And if that is the case, the market will absolutely rip all things rippable. Okay? If that thing comes in cool, expect us to go light years beyond. Okay? And I like how this Michigan consumer sentiment forecast is lower than the previous. This is a setup for absolute fucking send it, okay? And it is also going to be the last day of August into Labor Day, and I think that is a 4-day or 3-day weekend. Yeah, okay. So I don't think we have anything going on that Monday. Nope, nothing. Yeah, are we closed? Let's just double check it before we dive in. I know this is a long one, but there's such good info here. Okay, hold on. New York Stock Exchange holiday hours. Okay, let's see. Ding 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 ding. Yeah, we're closed on Monday. All right, so with knowing that, you would kind of, I mean, you'd think they fucking send it somewhere here, right? You would think they send it here, right? I mean, I favor us fucking sending it. Okay, now let's see, what else do we have? So if you're wondering if price action sucks on Monday, Tuesday, and most of Wednesday, yeah. So Snowflake and CrowdStrike always move $10. Now, you're in luck that I have already looked at CrowdStrike and come to the conclusion that it's just been fucking selling off for days here. See that? Last earnings, it was at 488. Dumped, grinded up, just said, screw that, I'm going home. All the way to, yeah, like February levels here. So, let's see. Last time, TradingView gonna do this shit to me again? Dude, TradingView, I don't know if it's because I have too much stuff on, but it doesn't like remember anything. But anyways, CrowdStrike could be a decent 1.15, 1.1. Could be a good mover, right? Could. But anyways, you have CrowdStrike. Yeah, Snow. KSS has obviously had, it's been a meme stock, right? Maybe I should pull that fucker up. What are we gonna get rid of? Here. KSS, I don't know if they've done any business, but obviously it's been a meme stock. Could be a pretty nasty short to go gap fill right there. That might be interesting. Or is this a cup, pullback, and handle, right? That's for you to determine. Haven't traded MongoDB in a while because the price action is kind of shit. Snowflake, CrowdStrike, you could gamble on them. You also run the risk of Nvidia's earnings, right? But if all three are good, you're going to absolutely send QQQ, right? Then you have Dix, Burlington, all these whatever, Marble, and Baba on Friday. Now, if you catch Baba the right way, plus you get Core PCE being cool, you could potentially, even here's Google, it's the like leading AI name by now if you haven't figured that one out, and it's at all-time highs. Gonna pull back and then absolutely send it. But anyways, I'm not looking at Google right now. Baba, I mean, look at the consolidation on this bad boy. Look at it. I mean, I remember us catching that move up and then we haven't really played it. I'm kind of inclined to take some calls. Okay, it's pre-market Friday into Core PC, so as you see, stay out of the fucking chop, save your chop money, and take some calculated risks this week, is the message from me. I'll be on live voice. I'll post my recaps and let you guys know what it is I trade. As far as SPX only, and trading SPX, what I find best as far as the gamma and the gex is to just play it in the morning, in case you need to bail yourself out, right? Because later in the day, all you're doing is being a schmuck. I mean, I caught that and I was like, let's fucking go crack the collar on a Friday, but that's what I get, right? So like, I'm gonna be trading IB session SPX pretty much only. And I know this video is long and all of that. I just want to go through real quick here. Let me first select that and then select the 29th to show you guys that yes, it is possible to go take off not only 652 on SPY, but even maybe 655. Those are two upside phantoms. Okay. But for the week, I mean, they got 647 is the biggest gex, right? All right. So the range can be pretty wide. I hope they give us a fake breakdown at some point, because that would be fun. But right now, let's just see here for reference. We're parked at 645. This is the closing gex. Looks like they're gonna protect those lower gaps for right now. I mean, I wouldn't want to short right now. I'd rather than try after the Fed meeting, right? Since the messaging is pretty hard that we're going to the moon, per the president, and I don't want to counter trade him right now. Monday's gex should hold 642, not get over 647. Okay, you can trade the extremes. Tuesday, maybe there's bad news Tuesday, just saying, could be something. Wednesday, yep, maybe after hours on Nvidia's earnings. Thursday, okay, and I showed you Fridays, so I'll keep an eye on these obviously, but I'm looking to load calls on dips. With that said, guys, here is what is that? The Neo. Okay, let's go. Here's the Namo. That's the not the Namo, but here it is. If we just chill for a few days, you get one final ripper. That's kind of what I'm looking for. If you still have any questions, rewatch. Final tidbit. Ding, ding. These dates matter. Okay. God bless, guys. Woo! Thank you for watching to the end. I'll see you on the train. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. There's gonna be snacks and sites to take pictures of. So charge your phone. Later.